trillions are wiped out, alliances are hired as muscle, eviction attempts erupt across multiple fronts, and battles rage so violently that even the largest coalitions in New Eden have started questioning the limits of their own power. With hundreds of dreads wiped out in one battle, and pilots around the cluster wondering what the hell just happened in that system, we welcome you to Operation Spire. Dozens of battles have torn through the cluster, and trillions have been erased over the last few months. We have pilots banished from the cluster, alliances refusing to crack under pressure, and the drama behind closed doors has become just as ruthless as the battles on grid. So, sit back and enjoy the show as we dive into new changes, updates about previous battles, news around the cluster, and some celebrations. Because this is Warlock Industries, providing cinematic battles and award-winning semi-reliable reporting straight from the front lines. Now, before we continue this segment, I'd like to take a moment to showcase the first ever sponsor of today's video. As many of you know, I make absolutely no ISK in New Eden, which means we've had to explore alternative methods of funding our increasingly questionable adventures. So, we would like to introduce you to Hivelift Logistics, exclusive to the Imperium. Hivelift is a new hauling service designed to move all the assets you absolutely do not want to move yourself. If we're going to dive into the drama of this war, we need to revisit one of the battles that reminded New Eden exactly what these groups are capable of. Deep within the region of the Outer Passage, a Fortizar stood upon its final timer, an alliance whose name we have elected not to pronounce. We would like to finish this segment rather quickly. Dozens of structures have already died throughout these regions, some defended with everything their owners could muster. Others, abandoned entirely, left drifting in space like forgotten monuments to poor planning. As the clock ticked closer to destruction, disaster struck before the battle had even begun. According to somewhat credible sources, a fleet of nightmares was making its way to the timer. Expensive ships with experienced pilots and a respectable amount of confidence. But little did they know that there was an enemy fleet armed and waiting with one simple idea: violence. The result was a devastating pipe bomb. For those unfamiliar, a pipe bomb tactic is when a group positions along a route, usually on a gate, and proceeds to smart bomb the absolute shit out of an incoming fleet. And in this particular case, the lesson cost over 50 billion ISK. For most organizations, such a loss would be reason enough to call it a day. But instead, the battle escalated. The Fortizar still came under siege with a second fleet, and within minutes, the first dreadnoughts entered the system. What started as a structure timer quickly evolved into the complete abandonment of fiscal responsibility. Capitals flooded the field. Explosions echoed across space, and every time one died, another was delivered fresh from the factory floor. When the guns finally fell silent, more than 1.3 trillion ISK had been turned into smoldering wreckage. Over 200 capitals had torn through space beneath the station, all while fewer than 1,000 pilots were involved. The sort of destruction that normally requires the largest coalitions in New Eden, several thousand more pilots, and at least 3 people yelling on comms that everything is under control. Instead, it happened here. A reminder that some of the most violent wars in New Eden aren't fought by the biggest empires. They're fought by the groups stubborn enough to keep escalating. But before we get into the other battles and drama of Operation Spire, let's witness this destruction. Because every capital destroyed today is another 6 spreadsheets for an industrialist tomorrow. trillions wiped out, let's dive into what really drives this madness that engulfs the regions of the dronelands. RMC, led by Bad Dodger of Red Alliance, had long faced accusations of financing its wars through illicit channels. For years, rivals claimed the coalition possessed access to vast, unaccounted-for wealth, allowing it to hire mercenary fleets, replace losses at an unprecedented rate, and sustain military campaigns that should have exhausted even the largest war chests. During these conflicts, many groups united against RMC, but struggled to match the coalition's resources and seemingly endless stream of contract support. As the war intensified, evidence began surfacing that linked senior leadership to a network of unauthorized financial transactions and black market funding operations operating beyond Concord regulations. The scandal reached a breaking point when a former associate provided authorities with records allegedly connecting coalition leadership to illicit transfers used to support military operations across the cluster. Following an investigation by Concord's Inner Circle and Financial Enforcement Divisions, several senior figures within the coalition were removed from the cluster and barred from conducting capsuleer activities. But as all things are, there is always two sides to a story. For the RMC, the war for the dronelands did not begin with a single controversy. It began with a series of territorial clashes as alliances, mercenaries, and wormhole groups converged on the region in search of influence and opportunity. After losing ground in Ethereum Reach, Dead End withdrew toward the Spire, where RMC established a defensive foothold and prepared for a longer campaign. What followed was months of escalating conflict as enemy coalitions anchored staging structures, opened new fronts through wormhole connections, and launched repeated attempts to force RMC and its allies from the region. The deployment of an RMC Keepstar marked a major turning point, demonstrating the coalition's commitment to holding its territory despite mounting pressure and uncertainty surrounding its leadership. The months that followed tested every group involved. New allies entered the war, old rivalries were set aside, and the conflict continued to escalate. But despite mounting pressure, RMC held its ground, reinforced its position, and slowly began to push back. As momentum shifted, the war expanded beyond the Spire and into Outer Passage. Front lines moved, strongholds changed hands, and former attackers found themselves on the defensive. By the end, the conflict had become one of the largest struggles in the dronelands, fought by some of the most stubborn coalitions in the cluster, with control of the region hanging in the balance. Whatever the drama may entail, one thing cannot be denied. These groups have forged some of the largest and most costly battles in New Eden, standing toe-to-toe with coalitions far larger than themselves. So, as we close out this chapter of the story, let's take a look back at some of the battles that shaped the war. From brutal structure sieges and capital ship slaughter to chaotic gate brawls that descended into complete mayhem, these were the moments that defined the Dronelands campaign. Moving on to other news across the cluster. New Eden has been hard at work creating chaos. A new president has been elected within the Galente Federation, while tensions continue to rise across Empire space. Recently, Intaki Syndicate forces launched coordinated attacks on gates leading into Jita after Kaldari forces began pushing deeper into Syndicate-controlled territory. In a turn of events, Syndicate forces deployed illegal tech to light a Sino in high-security space to try and escape with their super capitals. The result was exactly what you'd expect. Titans and supercarriers suddenly began appearing in places where Titans and supercarriers absolutely should not have been appearing. The scope, meanwhile, emerged from what many believed to be a decade-long hibernation, and finally began reporting on events as they were happening. Witnesses described the experience as unusual, confusing, and entirely unprecedented. Speaking of the scope, Warlock Industries recently sat down with the cluster's most elusive news agency for a one-on-one interview. Topics included the creation of Warlock Industries, our ongoing media rivalry, and the constant battle to determine which organization can deliver the most questionable journalism to the people of New Eden. We also attended FanFest, where we conducted reporting quite literally from the front lines. Somehow, this eventually led to us standing on stage in front of thousands of people. We spoke confidently, played epic footage, nodded as though everything was proceeding according to plan, and somehow made it to the end without being escorted off the stage. As always, the cinematics carried the story far better than the semi-reliable facts ever could. To our surprise, the day ended on a high note. Warlock Industries was awarded New Creator of the Year, proving once again that confidence, cinematics, and a complete disregard for preparation remains a viable strategy in New Eden.
And so without further ado, the winner of New Content Creator of the Year is Warlock Industries. Now to get my fingerprints. He has to navigate the intricate rabbit warren to get backstage and get up here. Here he comes. Don't trip over the light, Damien.
Come here.
Come here for a sec.
All right.
Okay, take that. Damien, we'll just talk for a quick minute. As I said before, you sort of arrived on the scene with a blast. Everyone is just like so thrilled with your content all the time. When you were giving your presentation here at Harper the other day, Twitch chat was going wild. I mean, congratulations. Do you want to say anything to your supporters?
I'm so shy being up here. Yeah, man, I saw something that I don't know what I'm saying right now. I got into the game because of the cinematics, and I decided, you know what? It's time to carve in-game cinematics of Eve and presenting all the battles you guys do. It's your stories, and turning them into like mini trailers. It's your stories. I love to archive it, and I'm still gonna do it for as long as I can, and that's why I'm here. And I hope you guys, we're gonna keep doing this content. Yeah, baby!
All right, man.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're gonna have to scrub up, become more credible.
In other news, we had the opportunity to meet up with Markee Dragon at FanFest, and we're proud to announce that Warlock Industries is now officially partnered with Mr. Dragon. You'll get a 3% discount using my code, and every purchase helps support the content we create and the events we're building for the community. We're currently stockpiling as much ISK as possible for a massive event on November 7th. Where we'll be teaming up with Shad for a 24-hour Extra Life charity stream in support of children's hospitals. Every bit of support helps make that possible. Before we wrap things up, we'd like to mention a few things coming down the pipeline. With all the new features and content arriving in New Eden, we'll be teaming up with several creators and, for the first time, launching regular live streams. If you'd like to stay up to date, join our Discord. Not only will you find information on upcoming projects and streams, but you'll also be able to submit requests for battle coverage, cinematic filming, video editing, promotional content for your corporation or alliance, or even send us intel on upcoming conflicts so we can be there to capture the action as it unfolds. We'd also like to give a quick shout out to another news outlet that recently covered the war against Pandemic Horde, including the staggering losses suffered throughout the campaign while using our footage to showcase the destruction. Now that we're back from FanFest, production is ramping back up. The editing backlog is enormous. The footage pile is somehow even bigger, and we have no shortage of explosions waiting to be turned into videos. Anyway, enough of the yapping. We'll leave you with a cinematic battle where Goon Swarm drops onto a group of fraternity dreadnoughts, whose lifespan on grid was roughly comparable to the duration of the war between the two coalitions. As always, all relevant links are in the description below. And as always, this is Warlock Industries, providing cinematic battles and Wait, no, that's not correct. Award-winning semi-reliable reporting, straight from the front line.